Hey guys, this is my first video, but I figured I'd put some gameplay in the background so you don't have to look at me. But, let's just get right into the video. So this story time takes place more towards the middle of my freshman year, so probably October, November of 2021. And this all happened at my friend Jonathan's grandma's house. And to fill y'all in, my friend Jonathan is a sophomore, but he was in pretty much all freshman classes. So I had like 4 classes with him by the end of the school year. So I get to my first hour class of school that day, which is my environmental science class. So I get there, and I had probably woken up like 20 minutes before this. I was late like every day, and I was tired as fuck. So I'm just trying to get in there, get out, take a little nap maybe. Because how this class worked was we pretty much watched the video every day or like every other day. So I would be able to take an easy 30-minute nap, which was really nice and needed because I definitely was not sleeping very much at all. I was probably staying up till like 2 or 3 a.m. every night on FaceTime with my girlfriend at the time. So I definitely needed that extra little 30-minute power nap. And I did manage to get it every day, so that was pretty nice, which is probably why I failed that class. But when my 5th hour rolls around, which is my art class, my friend Jonathan sits next to me in class every single day. But today, and the past few days, Jonathan had brought me some edibles. So when I get into the class, I go sit next to him, and he hands me one under the table. So I take the edible, and I'm just sitting there waiting, drawing, and my next thing after this was lunch. So I could take it during art, and then I'd go to lunch, eat a little bit, and it would pretty much fully kick in. But this week that he gave me the edibles would be the first week that we really actually started hanging out outside of school. And that's where the story takes place. Because one day, I go to school, we get into 5th hour, and he's like, yo, do you want to hang out after school? And I'm like, sure. He's like, we can smoke, all this shit. So I was pretty hyped because I never smoked before. Like, truly, I had smoked out of a bowl one time. And so we had planned to meet up after school at his grandma's house at like 5 o'clock. And so 3 o'clock comes around, we get out of school, and I go home, get dressed, and I just wait for him to text me to let me know that I can come over. And he texts me about 4:30, and I had my mom take me over to his grandma's house. And to give you the basic layout of his grandma's house, it was a 1-story with a pretty nice basement. And the basement is where he stayed at when he was over there. But the basement was like really nice. It had a bedroom and then a big open like walking area and then like a living room and a kitchen area, which I thought was weird that he put his bed in the fucking kitchen area, but who gives a shit. But I get there, and he comes outside and gets me, and we go to his basement. I meet his grandma and his grandpa. I talk to them for a little bit, and then we go to his basement. And tell me why this man does not have any weed. He said we were going to smoke, and then doesn't have any weed. But it's fine, because we ended up getting some from a plug, and his grandma and grandpa don't know he smokes, and don't let him smoke. But the rest of his family does. Like, his mom has bought me papers before, and we smoke at her house pretty regularly. But he ends up going out and getting the weed and just tucking in his pocket and bringing it back down. And he had, at that point, he had a couple packages of Swishers and papers, and we decided to roll a blunt. Well, he rolled a blunt because at that time I was still a beginner. I was nowhere near as experienced as I am now, and I can roll my own blunts. And I tend to smoke one a day. But like I said, at this time I was still a beginner, so he was doing everything. So we got the weed and he grinded it up and he started to roll the blunt. And for some reason, he just loved to go on Omegle all the time on the 420 like stoner section of Omegle. And he'd go on there and just talk to random stoners for like a couple minutes while he was rolling the blunt. And then once we started smoking, he'd get off of Omegle. So we started smoking and it fucking hits me like a train. Like, 14-year-old me was probably busting a mental nut at this moment because of the way that fucking blunt made me feel. So we're just hitting this blunt and I just fucking feel amazing. But afterwards, when we're done smoking, I go lay down on his bed because I'm fucking going crazy. Like, I was just giggling my ass off. And I still do this sometimes, but just as comfort because I'm comfortable around the people I'm smoking with, I'll be happier and in a better mood. But mind you, this was the first time that I had ever gotten high, so my tolerance was super low, and I smoked a good half of this blunt. And my main concern was just that I was going to get caught by my mom because I was only going to be there from like 5 to like 8. And honestly, my main memory from this entire just event is me eating like half a bag of his beef jerky because it was so fucking good when I'm high. Like, that's the only time I can ever stand eating beef jerky is when I'm high. But after I ate it, I felt so bad because, like, I had just eaten all of his beef jerky. And I was, like, asking for more snacks also. Like, every time I get high, I just eat so much. Like, I have the munchies so bad. And this is obviously no exception. But back to the story. So, I ate, like, 3 different things. And like 8 o'clock rolls around and my mom comes to get me and I'm freaking the fuck out because like I'm giggly as shit, I'm high as shit, and I just don't want to get in trouble, obviously. But so she comes to pick me up and I walk upstairs and his grandma starts talking to me for like 5 minutes, dude, and I'm like, I have to go. But they had like these really cute cats, so it didn't really matter because I would just pet the cats while she was talking. And she was basically just asking me questions about like my mom and how I know Jonathan and like all of this stuff. Just really random like stuff that old people always want to talk about. But she finishes talking to me and I go outside and I didn't get caught by my mom. So that was good because I thought I was going to like smell like weed. But luckily I didn't smell like weed because he ended up like spraying me with a bunch of Febreze and shit. But when I got home, I just went up to my room and I took a fat ass nap. Cause high naps are fire. Especially when you get like super stoned and you take a nap and you wake up and you're still high. Like those are the best. But that's it for this story time. If you liked it, drop a like, subscribe. It would help me out a lot. And if y'all would like to drop some comments on story times we should do next, that would be very greatly appreciated.